Okay, now we have audio. Excellent. I think you saw me set up some of the stuff too. That's not fun, but we're all good. Okay, so we're on to evolutionary stuff. I meant to start with this as a starting soon screen, but I forgot to click it. So I guess we can stay here for like a couple minutes. But things didn't work out too well for us. As you can see, we're close to 25,000 generations in. That's the overnight thing. And it has not really learned any better than it did previously. So I think there's some tweaks and other things we can probably do to make it learn a little bit faster, a little bit better. I'm going to go ahead and shut it off. We don't need to see that. So here we go. Let's see what we want to do here. Okay, so what we have a list of experiments. Okay, so we have to put the wall in front. We have create a stats log. You know, something else that would be really interesting to do would be save the weights to a file. That would be really nice too. In case like something is actually good, then you can save them and you can then reload them from a file, and so you don't have to like retrain every time you want to see it. That'd be fun. So it's not really learning to turn. Let's see, are we giving it all the information? We're giving it where they are currently. Oh, that's another thing we could potentially do, is like put them all in sort of random places, which I think I have up here. So let's say we give them our player's location by random. When you update a weight, what do we change it by? Is it like just I guess like when I mutate it, I want to probably mutate just one of the weights. And that's it. So I can't help but feel like we are maybe being a little bit too controlling with things. I'm not sure. Skimmers, hello. How are you doing today? It's going pretty well. One more day left for the week, and one more day left of the current schedule before I get to. Well, I have to figure out I have to finalize the schedule for the new year, and then it'll be good. All right, so let's see. I want to tweak. Yeah, we're gonna change the schedule post year. We're not gonna do 2 streams a day anymore. My schedule is gonna change. I hope in a good way. That's going to allow me to do. It's gonna be less streams, but more stream time, if that makes sense. More focus on Brooks builds, definitely. Okay, so I guess like a couple things. Maybe the first one that I want to try is revisit, like make sure all game information is being passed into the neural network. All right, so what does that mean? what do we have information wise for the game? And then what do we have for the perceptrons that we're dealing with? We are I'm also actually really curious what's happening in guess, like what the weights are. So we have 7 of them. We have 2 of these. George Daniel Tinnix, hello. How are you doing today? Is a new or old challenge? This is a relatively new challenge. We've been trying it for about a week or so. We figured out evolutionary coding, neural evolutionary coding, although we're not very good at it yet. Making something that actually learns how to like shoot something is surprisingly hard. I guess like I want to make sure that the weights really are. So I start them with -0 to -1. When I change them, I'm changing them to random. In normal training, what do you do with the weights? Like how do we update those? Hold on, I'm gonna go get my book. So I tried to convince Zilby to come down here. He came down, I brought his food, he ate his food, and then he decided to leave, not hang out with us. So sorry about that. Skimus, you actually used to be based in Denver. You'll never manage to catch the streams at that point in time. Yeah, I do tend to stream at odd times, or at least I did. So that would make it harder too. Fit Writer, hello, how are you doing today? Oh, you use the same Zellage? Nice. And this is Helix. Not Vim. But close, very close. All right. Where is okay, forces, autonomous agents, behaviors. Okay, cellular automata, evolution of code. Okay, neural networks. That's what I want. Now, okay, so 444. The theme is Groovebox or similar. For Zellage, it's whatever the default theme is. For Helix, sure. For Helix, Advaita Dark, that's what I'm using. Your times are not odd, probably. It's just that you're getting ready for work or getting, well, I mean, that's what I mean. It's like odd for that types of things, like at least if you're local here. What book is this? Oh, this book is called The Nature of Code, which that of course is backwards, isn't it? That's not helpful for you. The Nature of Code has a website and it's available for free online. I own it like twice because I bought it for an electronic version too. But I really liked Dan Schiffman from the Coding Train. So I bought all of his stuff multiple times. I guess not all of it. I don't have the learning processing book. So this is the location of the book, and then you can actually just read it straight here. It's really awesome that he's made it available. Now, I took a look So back in the past, I did some things online on stream with his book, but now that, like, you know, I have this as a business, I looked at the license to make sure I was good with it. It's Creative Commons non-commercial, which means that since I technically am making money with Brooks Builds now and like going for that kind of thing, I can't actually show like too much of the book on the stream, but I can reference it and we can go that way. So you can look at me like reading a book. That works, right? However, I really do think it's an excellent book. It's a fun way to learn how like math and like various other things that we don't usually run into, business logic coding, and then to do them. Like I really think it's a great anti-burnout book. Okay, so what I want is the training part. Like, okay, so in here there's a neural network section, and they do supervised learning. We are doing unsupervised learning, but the general idea is the same. Okay, yeah, so here we have to calculate a new weight. Okay, so what we have to calculate a new weight. Now, when I calculate the new weight, I'm using neural-evolutionary thing, and we're using the weights as the neural-evolutionary side of it. Neural genetic evolution. Now, what they're doing is to calculate the new weight, they're taking an error and multiplying it by the input. To get the delta weight. And then they're doing... Okay, so it's basically weight plus error times input. I wonder if I could do something like that. I wonder if I could do something to... Oh, what's the cost function? Sure, let's take a look at it. I haven't changed it from what we had originally had, and that's another potential source of change for this, is that our cost is the same. In the individual, in update. Okay, so here's where we figure out what the I guess it's not cost. We have a score. I don't think we have a cost at all. What's a cost function in neural evolution or neural networking? What I basically do is I track the bullets. Okay, same thing basically. Score you want to maximize, cost you want to minimize. So I have no cost. I only have a score. We could add in a cost. Would I do something like score minus cost? With a floor of 0 and a ceiling of 1. That could be interesting. So I could basically say, if you don't fire your bullet, you only need 1. They're just called different based upon where. Oh, okay. So I'm trying to get to 1. So that would be a score. And right now we have it set to be how close the bullet got to the target. If the bullet crosses over the target, that means that it's a 1.0. It's like fully 100%, you're good to go. And it only updates the score if there's something greater than this. Now, some of the bots never fire anything at all. And that's okay, I guess. When they play a turn, they get we have these inputs that are coming in. So we have 7 of them right now. So our position, X and Y, the amount that we've rotated, our target position, X and Y, our target velocity, X and Y. Now, I could also put in the bullet position. And the bullet speed. And here we basically say every single turn they create 2 commands. So they make a guess on should we rotate, and they make a guess on should we what? Oh. Well, this is wrong. Our fire perceptron is never. Oh no, I never called fire perceptron. I just called rotate perceptron twice. Oh no. Okay. That's okay, well that could cause issues. Let's run this code and see if it's any happier. Now it is firing at different rotations. Okay, that's good to go. So over here on the left is our generation count, and over here is the number of bullets that have been fired. Oh, they're not all firing straight. Okay, I think I accidentally wired up their brains wrong, and I was looking like when they were saying turn right, I was firing for them. And so like that, totally my fault. Oops. They never had a chance. Well, that kind of sucks. Now, currently, it takes a while between each generation. What happens is every time they fire a bullet, it waits 50 more milliseconds. I think what I want to do is wait, like, if in that tick they fire, we wait maybe 100 milliseconds if any of them fire. Okay, some of them hit that time, so let's see if they learned anything about that for this next generation. Or it's probably a mistake and they don't realize why they hit it. Maybe they learned it needs to be right in front of them. How do software engineer? Hello, how are you doing today? Am I working on my main job or is this a side project? This is technically my half job. So I'm working part-time, 25 hours a week for my day job. I do a lot of web development there. No Rust, just JavaScript. You know, a lot of infrastructure, AWS, things like that. So, and then with here for streaming is like technically a side job. I guess like streaming I would consider like not necessarily the job itself. Creating courses and selling those is the real job. I'm sort of on a holding pattern in December for that until I get to until we get a little bit more until some of the technology I want to create a course for stabilizes. But starting next week, my schedule is going to change again, and hopefully I'll have more time for creating courses, and it'll be good. I'll be able to do 3 things at once, essentially, and it'll be good amounts of things. Okay, so this is already looking a lot better. Now, should I add in any more information to this? Sounds like a dream job doing 3 things at once. Yeah, it's well, what's really nice about it is I get to do like fun learning things for this type of stuff, and creating courses and selling them is part of my like life goals, like, you know, like my passions. And I do have education background and experience, so I do like, it's more than just, oh yeah, I like to teach. It's more like I also know how to teach, so I'm always happy to be able to do that. Okay, so I don't know if this is gonna fit any better, but certainly it's a lot better than what it was before. One thing I'm thinking about is changing the timings of each new generation. So right now, okay, I'll let this running while we look at this. Okay, so right now I have our end generation on, on tick 1000. So wait 1000 ticks in the end. In update, I think what I want to do is like bullets fired, just have a flag here. And we'll mark that to false. Let's also have end generation on tick. We'll have a end generation after ticks. So let's say we wait for 100 frames after a bullet has been fired. So down here we have, okay, the command fired has been made. Instead of just saying, hey, for every bullet will increase by 50 ticks, let's just say player fired equals true. Okay, so we mark that the player, each player is only allowed to fire once too, which is another thing. Okay, so if their bullet count is greater than the population size, oh, this is interesting. Okay, so it waits until everybody has fired. Okay, I don't know if I want to do that. What I probably want to say is like, okay, somebody has fired, so we're gonna say bullet fired and mark you to be true. That will probably happen multiple times. Did I make you mutable? I did not. Then down here, okay, so if ticks end generation, okay, so if we've reached the end generation, if we reach the end, go ahead and mark it to be another 1000. I feel like one of them has, we should probably just say you only have 250. So let's do self dot end generation after ticks. So you only have 250 to fire each generation. And then here we can say if bullet fired then we can say self dot end generation on tick plus equals self dot end generation after ticks. So that way they give themselves a little bit, they double their time, like they add a little bit more time every time one of them fires. Every tick if one of them fires. So I think that would work. I'm not caring about the bullet counts. The bot population size we're not caring about right now. Or at least we're not storing that. Okay. How are you doing? You could reduce the score based upon how many turns it took to achieve the minimum distance from the target, so that encourage rotation and penalize just waiting for the target to move. Ooh, yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out yesterday, is if we could do that. All right, it always opens on the left screen. Epic, hello, how are you doing today? Neural-evolutionary, is this like genetic algorithms, i.e. generate a few child variations? Yes, this is exactly like that. Plus they're intelligent, whatever that means. All right, so the generations are happening. Ooh, okay, so some of them are learning, I think, just to fire faster, I think, maybe. I could see that, Skimmus, though. We could suggest, okay, so okay, so we can reduce the score based upon how many turns it took to achieve the minimum distance. I'm wondering if because when it's up there like that, like sometimes the entire generation happens and the bot doesn't even have like the target's not even in the center over here, so they're just firing over there anyways. So one idea I had, and tell me what you think about this, Skimmus, is instead of like costing more, what if I put a wall here and stop the bullets if they're going straight to like here, so it encourages aiming more up and down, or at least not firing. Like you can get close if you fire straight, but you can never hit a bullseye. Jim, hello. The results were not great, but then we discovered a bug in my code where I was listening to the command for their turning for firing as opposed to listening to their command for firing. So now they're firing in multiple directions. So that's good. They always wanted to fire in multiple directions apparently, and I had just not done it right. So that's fun. So this one, like, they might actually learn to fire up and down, maybe. Ooh, I think those ones were firing not at the center. Like, yeah, they're firing up here now. And that fired a little bit down. They're not firing exactly center anymore. They're turning a little bit before they fire. So that's pretty cool. And some of them are firing off and to the sides, which is also really interesting to see. The other things that I can do is when I have them mate with each other, I'm swapping the sight and the neural, like the sight and the turn back and forth, and I think that that's not great. I think like keeping the genes in the relative same world might be a good idea. So here in the individual here, new from parents, we take two parents, which are selves. The wall might be fine, but I haven't really been following this project from the beginning, so don't know how that's going to affect the whole thing. I don't know how it's going to affect the whole thing too. It's very like, it's fascinating to look and like just be like, I don't know what like the ramifications for any of these things really are. That's probably just me being new to the project, or no, me being new to like this entire idea. I should make this like give them titles and like put them next to each other too, like on top of each other, because this gets really confusing and hard to see after 999. I mean, I can also do I could also do something where the mutations are different too. I suppose I can also like score for trick shots, as it were, and basically allow the bullets to bounce around. I think we had that at one idea. Allow the bullets to bounce around, and then they could the bullets could last only a certain number of frames. That could be interesting. Oh, you sent an issue comment to GitHub, just an info. Was it for this project? Oh, yeah. Oh, it's Leak Wars. Yeah, I took a look at the website last night. That looks really cool. It looked really interesting, so I added it to my list of things to take a look into. Is like neural evolution an actual like concept you can apply in the game? Because that would be fun to sort of like apply that. I was trying to think about how I would apply neural evolution to the coding games, and I couldn't really think of them because I can't really like, I'd have to recreate the entire game and then train them on that, and then reapply all the weights and everything, which like doesn't feel all that interesting to me. $154 in, and it fired towards the target up. That's a thing. So that's really cool. So I think some kind of learning is happening. Certainly a lot better than last time, where like, so I guess I didn't keep it up because I closed it on the Windows system, but it ran for 250,000 generations or something like that, and it never. This is better. This is already better than that one had gotten. So this is one tweak that we did. Oh, look at that. It hit the target up there. There we go. Okay, that's a good sign. I wonder if that one is going to survive long enough to like affect a large number of children, as it were. The other thing that I'm not sure about is where our steering ends up. Like, are they steering too much or too little? Because I see them going, I guess like they never get all the way backwards. And they could plus and like go the opposite direction. So I know that they can do that. So this is, it's kind of fun just watching. I just want to sit here and watch it. Okay, what I wanted to do was change it. So okay, here's what I'm doing right now. When I'm creating a new individual, I'm taking its rotate perceptron and yeah, okay, so actually, you know what? I think I am doing this right. So I'm saying, okay, your rotate perceptron is from one parent's rotate, and your fire perceptron is from a different parent's fire. But what if I combined them, like I really combined them together? So instead of like this, I said like, okay, your rotate perceptron is a combination of parent one's rotate and parent two's rotate. So if I were to do that, we need to, I almost want to create a new from two. So new from parents as well. Okay, so the only thing we have is, okay, so we have the input count, so we can just grab that out. That's fine. And then for the weights, we have, so we can do maybe the first half of the weights from parent one. So let our weights, now can I extend from slice, and I want parent one weight of 0 through the input count. So half input count. Okay, so I grab you, and then I extend So parent 2 weights from half the input count to the end. So that way it's truly taking half to this. So then our rotate perceptron is now going to be a perceptron new from parents, parent 1, parent 2. And then I kind of want to do exactly the same thing here. What are you upset about? Expected reference? Aren't you references? You're a reference. Oh, no, I want... Oh, okay, hold on. Okay, so I'm handing it the correct perceptrons, and so now it's taking. So now there's not going to be such a big change when they mate with each other and have children. Now they're actually going to like truly get like more appropriate genes, so it shouldn't be quite a big change, or maybe it will be a big change. Maybe we'll learn a little bit better now. Okay, so if we change that, how are you doing? Let's fix this too, while we're here. So here's my text. So I'm just throwing this into our text. So this is the generations. And I probably want to give it a label. And then I want to do the same thing down here. So bullets fired. This generation, this might be too much. Okay, and so then you're at, I want to keep the same X and change the Y. So instead of 500, let's make this like 400 and see if that looks a little bit better. Oh wow, look how many of them were aiming differently at that generation. Okay, that was interesting. Okay. An interesting sort of like every once in a while they decide, okay, maybe we'll try shooting differently. I can also try having the mutations not be quite as extreme. Right now, a mutation means that either the fire or the rotate perceptron will completely be replaced, and like with a completely new random thing, not like one of the weights, that's what I'm thinking of. Are you keeping stats of or log of hits misses? Yeah, so that's one of the experiments that we can do that I think would be a good idea. That would be certainly interesting to sort of like see. I don't know what would we want to store, and like where would we want to put it. Vampire, hello. I'm not really sure a good way to speed it up. I sped it up a little bit by having it reset the generation a little bit faster. I'm not sure off the top of my head how I can like change the update frames per second, like the ticks, to be a little bit faster. Did you need to do any setup for the GGEZ library? No, I didn't. I just cloned it and it worked. And that also worked on the Windows system too. Interesting. Are you on? Wait, are you on Linux? I've tried it on Windows and I've tried it on. I've tried it on Mac. I bet. Okay, hold on. Let's get you set up. Schemas first. There's something in the GGEZ crate for this. You need this. Or this. Or this. Everything else should just work. So try that. I don't know which Linux you're on, obviously. So maybe one of them will work for you. Okay, put the FPS up. Also, hello, ByteCube. How are you doing today? Yeah, let's see if we can figure out where the FPS is. Can we find FPS? Oh, I can have desired FPS while context time, check update time, desired FPS. Oh, but I think it's running as fast as it can right now. I think this is for slowing it down. There is a way. Oh, you think in my code I already have this? I don't think I do anymore. I don't see it in here. Now there's time for ticks where I'm like getting the number of ticks that we've had. And so every frame is another tick. It would be handy to iterate through generations fast. Yes, absolutely. I think I was playing with it for a little bit of time, like at one point, but I think I took it out. I think we ran into what we now see, which is like, I can't actually set the FPS. I could slow it down, but I can't make it. This is as fast as it can go. I'm pretty sure that update is being called as not like F32s, but like is being called however many times it is. I'm not really sure how to measure that. I guess like if I simulated it without the visual aspects, then we could basically then we can like do the training and like then show things off separately. That could be really cool. So I feel it hit a wall. It's like every once in a while it's firing off, but not really too much. So my next big change is going to be ooh, actually that was pretty different. It would be worth a shot. Sure, we could set the desired FPS, but the thing that I'm noticing here is that the FPS is always for limiting. So like, look at it. It's like this tries to throttle updates to desired value. Yeah, so let's try this. Let's have what are you? Are you an F32? You're a U32. So let's say I want this to be 120. Or like maybe we go crazy. We want 1024. Obviously it won't hit that probably on this system, but it can try. Then in our update function, while context time, check update time. So while context time, check update time. So checks whether or not the desired amount of time has elapsed since our last frame. If called in a loop, it may therefore return true once, twice, or not at all, depending on how much time has elapsed since the last frame. Okay, so we'll say our desired FPS, and then we put all of our logic in here. So I go down to the bottom of update. Okay, go to the bottom of update, and everything in here is like reset for that. Okay, so let's see if this, I think the view will be the same, but maybe things will start bouncing around. I'm not necessarily sure. And we can see whether or not the generations ends up going a little bit faster too. So let's try this. Oh yeah, that made a lot difference. I can't even see the bullets. I can't see the bullets. And the generations aren't happening. Oh, okay, hold on. It's this is not, I don't think it's working the way we expect it to. Okay, so I think, okay, how do I want to do this? I want to move the bullet over. I don't want to use ticks anymore. I can't use ticks. Then it'll actually really will be faster. So if we have the bullets, how do I want to do this? If you fired a bullet, then I want to I don't actually know how many. I want to wait for a minimum number of pixels. So I can actually see every once in a while I see a little bullet like out, but it's very hard to see them. Oh, you're getting dizzy? Okay, sorry about that. Let's not do this. Let's do like 120 frames per second. That's probably like a little bit better. I think that I can have the generations. Okay, so if I have an update running, I guess like, okay, so here's my problem. I don't know how to set when to, if all shot their bullet, you can stop this generation. Correct, but so far I have 100 in each generation. Very rarely do any of, like, some of them don't fire at all. It almost feels like what we could say is you get 100 milliseconds. I feel like time is not the right one to use. We could do something like if you fire a shot. Oh, okay. How about this? We give bullets. We trace whether or not the bullets are alive, which I think we already do right now. So if we trace somewhere in here, we update the bullet, and in bullet update, no, that's not. I think what I want to do is add in logic here. So I have this like old, I have some of this old logic that we can bring back in. And what we tell whether or not the bullets are alive. So I need the target and I need the bullet. Yeah, set the time up per generation down. I could also do that. So right now we start with 1,000. So what if we start with 100? You start with 100 ticks, and then let's just try this. Let's say you get 10 ticks. Let's do this. You get 10 ticks. If a bullet is fired during this turn, then we increase the number of ticks that you get by 10. So that encourages them to fire because they have more time to live. Otherwise, it ends. So that way, it's not what I meant to do, but okay, sure. And then I'm going to be curious whether or not the bullets start ending. I want the bullets to at least be able to go off the screen. Apply scores to actions, then kill off the lowest scoring and make an offspring of the two strongest ones. Oh yeah, look at this. The bullets don't even last, like very, very rarely get to the end. So that's... Now that's certainly interesting because I wonder if they'll learn like, okay, they're going to learn to fire really fast and they have to learn to fire at it as it goes up and down. As soon as a new generation happens, the previous bullets get wiped out and we remove them. So let's try doubling that to 20 ticks. Why are you dividing the rotation by 360 on individual? Good question. Let's we can take a look at that. I think I was trying to... Okay, this is barely reaching the end Okay, so it's able to reach the end here. It's like dying right at this point in time, but that's enough to hit the target. So that should be fine. This is going through the generations much faster. Learning will commence faster now. In some ways, I feel like I'm now GLaDOS and just murdering poor bots and forcing them through multiple generations just for training purposes. Testing. That's what we're doing. It's just testing. 66. Where are we? Down. Oh, I made changes here, so it's probably a different line. Rotation by 360. So rotation. Okay, so when I play, I'm trying to set this. Oh, yeah. So when you hand the inputs into a neural network to make a guess, it's best to give them a number between -1 and 1. So I'm trying to normalize the rotation to make it a number between -1 and 1. So I figured if I divide by 360, that should do it, right? Because like if they had rotated all the way around, that would be 360. Like if they rotated back around to where they started at. That's sort of what I figured it would be. I don't know 100% that that's correct. Could you put the frame rate up again and put a text on screen with max hits per generation? Oh, with the hits. Yeah, we can figure out the hits. Yeah, we can definitely do that. So the max hits per generation. Do I want to like store that as a list, or do I want to store like this generation how many hits they got? Oh, they're not reaching the target anymore. Oh, they are waiting a tiny bit. They must be waiting a tiny bit within the and then firing. That must be that's why they're not hitting the end. Interesting. I wonder if I need to give them a tiny bit more time. But okay, so if I want to get like the number of hits per generation, do we want just like something like another line here that just says like time, like targets hit? Oh, max hits of all generations, otherwise it might not be possible to read it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like that's what I was worried about. So the max number of times that the target's been hit. That's right about the 0 to 1, but you're not capping the entity aim rotation itself anywhere, so the aim rotation could be increasing or decreasing to any huge values. It could be, but technically they can't, I don't think they can survive long enough. What would, okay, so how would I... We can also display out the maximum and minimum rotation just to make sure that I'm not doing something really, really weird. Let's, oh yeah, learning. I keep on forgetting, I should be putting on my learning. Because we're learning. Hat time. Okay, so I want to be in the library. Let's hit like max hit count. And this could be a U. There's only 100 of them, so let's do U32. U8 should be enough for this. So we start with 0. And then at the beginning of update, so I guess like in this massive like, you know, multiple update loop thing that we got going. We do let hits, you know, current like target hits. And we set you to 0. Make you mutable. Now I need to know if you hit the target, which I don't think we do. Okay, so we get loop through the bullet. We update the bullet. Okay, this is for each bullet, so I need to know so I want bullet distance to target. Okay, so that gives me an F32. And then what we can say is if the bullet distance to target, if the bullet distance to target is less than the target size, then hit target hits plus equals to 1. And then I guess down here we can just do self dot max hit count. Okay, so self.max hit count is going to be equal to self.max hit count dot max target hits. And then you need to be, you need to be an as. No field max hit count. What are you? Yeah, you are max hit count. Come on. Oh, because I. Okay, and then in here I want max hit count max hits in a generation. Max hit count to string. We'll scale that up. Let's put this in the top left. So like down 10, down 10. Yeah, the perceptron doesn't understand that the rotation of negative 720. Yeah, I know that, but I don't. Yeah, it's better to clip the updates, the M rotation to the 0 to 3. Yeah, that's a good idea too. We can do that. Hold on, let's add in. Okay, so draw. Then I need you to be the max hit count here. Max hit count. Okay, so max hit count. That's updated. Okay, so that should be happy there. And then when we rotate, okay, here we go. So if we're rotating left, I do player aim rotation, self that, but then what I can also do here is I can say player dot aim rotation Clamp. This returns a new one. So player dot aim rotation equals plane air rotation. I want this to be between negative 360.0 and 360.0. I think this would be good, right? I'm not returning anything in here, so this will be fine. Sure, just like repeating the exact same code is fine. It's fine. Okay, what do you think about that? I think that would like prevent it from oversteering over again. It might have weird things where it can't steer it can't like go past it again. I might want, like, I don't know if clamp is the right function to use here. I mean, I could also do something like negative 180 to 180. That would be interesting too. I literally don't think they can even get to 180 right now because they can't steer fast enough. That would be another thing to do, is like allow them to steer faster. Okay, so we have several things that we've done here. All right, here we are with 1200 generations. They are still firing mostly straight, but every once in a while we see them fire. Every once in a while I think we see them wait a little bit. I think I need to give them more ticks to reach the end. You probably want to modulus. Clamping will prevent them from rotating in a circle. I guess like it's almost like a business decision, right? It's like a design decision. Do I want them to be able to do infinite turning, or do I want to like simulate that it's like a physical steering wheel that they're using, and like, okay, you reached a full circle, you literally can't steer anymore. In which case I might want to say you can only go to negative 180 to 180. Shandu, hello. How are you doing today? So now we're doing revolutionizing Rust with machine learning. Yeah, we're trying. Yeah, so like basically, like I don't know what the right answer. I don't know if there probably isn't a right answer. There's probably just like a variety of different behaviors that can be trained from that. Okay, I don't know why sometimes they've decided to hold off on firing and waiting until later, and then they fire and then they run out of time. That's super interesting. I don't know why sometimes they run out of time. But let's go ahead and restart this, and let me give them 5 more frames per second per everything. It's a good thing that you're directly building a project, like you're just waiting to understand math and then build something. Yeah, that's not how I do it. I like to just build something. Okay, so we're already up to 47. And yeah, okay, so when they get lucky and it's like straight at it, they get some good hits. Can they actually see the target? Or do you envision that they learn the pattern of the circle moving? So I'm not really sure I understand how the seeing behavior works in these type of things. My understanding is that, okay, so basically they know where they are and they know where they're aiming, the rotation they're aiming, and they know where the target is, and they also know that it's moving up and down. So I guess like in that way they see the target and its movement and how fast it's moving. I don't really understand what seen means exactly in this context, though. Okay, yeah. So so then in that case, yes, they can see it. Now, this is really interesting. They've learned to not fire. They're not firing bullets nearly as often, which means that there's a lot of them that just die. That just don't fire at all. Because they get a 0 score if they don't fire their bullet at all. So we should be seeing, because even the ones that fire down here have a they're going to have a higher fitness than the bots that fire that don't fire at all. Could I? Yeah. So we tried that, and then it made some people start feeling sick. So I am hesitant to do that. But you know what? We could maybe do. I could try listening to. If I'm holding the space bar down, like set this to a high. So like, what if I do something like this? Const, like fast FPS. We put this back to 10. Let's do like 240. Let's do like 360. Okay, on key. Oh, right now this quits the entire thing if I press escape. Okay, so if I do key down event, so if I do on key down event, okay, so we have this input. So can I match the input? It's a struct. Oh, key code. Scan code. I probably want a key code. Okay, so if let's key code equals input dot key code. Want to match the key code. Fill the match arms. Okay, there's so many key codes. I should not have done all of these. Okay, oops. This is literally every key. Let's undo that. All right, what are you? This is a virtual key code. So virtual key code space. Okay, so if I press the space key, I want to I have access to self, so I want to do desired FPS is going to be U32, and we're going to start with it being the desired FPS. Okay, we have desired FPS there, and then you are going to be self dot desired FPS, and then down here. So if I press the this is not going to toggle it, is it? You know what I need to do? I need to do, okay, desired and fast FPS. I need to know if I'm on normal speed or not. So normal speed, this will be a Boolean. Twisted Seed, hello, how are you doing today? Okay, normal seed, and then we'll have to figure out, okay, so let FPS is going to be equal to if self dot normal speed. So if this is true, I want the desired FPS. Otherwise, I want the fast FPS. Okay, so we do that. Now we say, okay, so if you're a space, then I want to do self dot normal speed is going to be equal to the opposite of self dot normal speed. So just toggle every time I do this. Okay, and then when we're done with this, okay, and then quit out. And then for everything else, go ahead and just do nothing at all. Like that's okay. Okay, so if I've done anything correctly, okay, so here we are with 740 generations now. More of them are firing. Like it looks like it's doubled or so in general. But they're still doing the entire fire down the center tactic. Now that's interesting. They fire like closer to the center when it's actually near the center, which is pretty cool. So that's nice. You might need a key up event as well. Let's find out. I don't know. I don't know. All right, let's run this and see how this likes it. Okay, so here we are at our normal speed, and then now it's faster. It's about 3 times faster, which I think is what we try to calculate out to, which is nice. So that's good. All right, so let's see what I missed. Okay, so Skimmus, you're suggesting we want to restrict the aim angle even further, negative pi to pi, because vec2 from angle works on radian angle, not on degrees angle. Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, let's try that also. I don't know if that will have like a big difference, but we can certainly give that a shot. And so here I can slow it down again. So here, when we go back, we can try that out. I can also make this an insane speed. So let's do the 1024 again. Also, Albert, hello. How are you doing today? Or how was your day? And then let's do, okay, aim rotation. So we do that here in update. Okay, so we're clamping. Do we think that clamp still works? I think a clamp still works, right? So I want this to be pi. Between F32 pi to pi. Okay. Okay, so if I do that, now we save you. Let's see how you're doing. All right, let's try this again. Okay, so now it should be fairly the same. We're limiting how much they can turn, but I don't think they can get that far in their rotations. So that's pretty cool and interesting. Every once in a while they're firing up and down. That's fun too. Let's there's some more tweaks that we can do, but before I'm going to hyperspeed, and then we'll leave that run in the background and let it do its thing. Okay, so another change. So in the individual, when it creates the new oh, you played Stardew Valley while researching primes on your GPU. Nice. I like Stardew Valley. It's a nice calming game. But I've never gotten the 2 years in. I usually like sort of peter out and then get distracted by something else and stop playing before that happens. Someday I want to actually do at least finish enough of the game to feel that I've played it. Okay, so bullet distance to target. Okay, so no, this is update. Okay, so here, if this is less than mutation chance, individual. Okay, so we mutate. Now right now I have, okay, so we have a 50% chance that we're going to mutate one of the perceptrons or another. So I kind of want to go into a perceptron and tell it to mutate, and then change the way that mutations work. So let's do a mutate in here. I'm thinking we get one of the weights and we just regenerate that one weight and that's it. Oh, and 16 watch streak, which is nice. Oh, you're trying to get to true perfection. So I've never even I've never completed the community center in that game, which is I want to do that. To me, that's I want to finishing the game at least once. Okay, so what does that mean? What does this mean? Mutate. So I want to take one of the weights. So we have the input count. So what I can do is I can say let our random index is going to equal to RNG gen range between 0 and self dot input counts. And then I want a random weight. We're just going to regenerate this. So we'll regenerate that one thing to be a completely random number. So from -1 to 1. Oh, inclusive. And we'll say self dot weights of random index is now equal to the random weight. And that's it. Okay, so we'll tell you to mutate. Why are you upset? Expected one of, oh, like an equal sign. That would be helpful. So now, what if we do both? What if we do both? If you're selected, I mean, okay, actually it just could just be one of them, right? We can just say, I don't generate a new perceptron. What I can say is self dot rotate perceptron mutate, then pass it the RNG. Self dot fire perceptron mutate, pass the RNG. Okay, and then in the bot, which I think is in the logic. No, it's not in the logic. It's in the library. Our mutation chance I have as like, it's 1%. What if I do something, what if we do something crazy? You have a 25% chance of having a mutation, but like a tiny little thing changes. Actually, ignore the last thing I said. Probably not going to make much difference. The players don't have enough time to rotate a lot, which like, yeah, it's not going to have big difference on it. But like, hey, it's like, if we do change that around and make it so they have the difference, that can, like, you know, having that in there will prevent bugs, probably. Oh, days around an hour of gameplay, you have the power to stop time? Oh, wow. I've never done that. But I've never really played with mods either, so I assume that's a mod that lets you do that. Anyways, have a great night. Thanks for stopping by. Okay. So in that period of time, we're at 240 generations. I've slowed it back down to a fast but reasonable speed. 39 is how many's hit maxed. Okay, let's see if these new changes have any effect. Already, we had a big group of them hit. More of them are firing. Do you think that I could, what do you think it would be, do you think it would change things if I were to start them with a higher fitness score? So we say that your score like starts at 50%. And you can get higher by firing closer to it. But if you never fire your bullet, it goes to 0. That would be really interesting. Ooh, all 100 fired within 1 generation. Okay, hold on. They're starting to learn to fire. That's interesting. Maybe eventually they'll learn to aim. All right, let's speed this up and let's commit some of these. All right, so this is better learning and bug fixing. All right, so this is pushed up in case you want to take a look at that. Let's take a look at our README. So make sure all the game information is being passed into the neural network. I think that all the relevant information is being passed, so I'm going to remove that. We could put a wall in front of the target to block the bullets. That being said, I can also move the players around randomly and have them be moving around, which might get a little bit dizzy though if I'm having like 100 entities sort of going up and down and playing around like that. That could be interesting. Energy system, that would be interesting. Multiple bullets could be interesting too, to let them have multiple shots. We can try something like that. I can try giving them more than one bullet. I'm actually really curious if I let them have infinite bullets, what happens? I might crash it. I'm basically tracking here to see like how many times the player is fired. Ooh, we can do a heat cooldown system too. That would work, yeah. So let's say we don't have a cooldown system at all. So like we just let them fire as often as they want. They can fire once per frame and they can fire while they're steering. Okay, so if they do that, here's where it looks like right now. They have all learned to fire, which is really interesting this time around. Here, uh-oh. Oh, stop. I froze. Quit. Okay, I think we're about to crash. Luckily streaming is happening on the Windows system, so the Mac crashing is not actually going to break anything. It is currently, can I force quit? I can. Why is that? Where's my easy good game? That's my Firefox window. Right? No? Okay, there we go. Excellent. Okay, yeah, so it was attempting to fire over 50,000 bullets per frame. Oh no, per generation, which is obviously a lot. So I think your idea, Albert, of a heat cooldown system would be a good idea. What we can do is in our entity, so instead of checking if we fired, we can check, so pub, we can do like a cooldown, whatever that means for this. It's like a cooldown can be a U8, let's say. We have our cooldown, and then on update, our cooldown can subtract until it reaches 0. So cool self.cooldown is going to be equal to if self.cooldown is greater than 0. Self.cooldown -1. Otherwise, self.cooldown. Okay, so we update that. And then I could have a function to like set cooldown. So pub function set cooldown. Okay, so we can do that, and then back to you. Okay, so if player dot cooldown is greater than 0, then we just continue. But then here we're going to say player dot set cooldown to be, let's say you have to wait at least 5 more frames. Let's see if that's a good idea or not. Oh, do a saturating sub. What is, I keep on forgetting what saturating does. Oh, that's, oh, right. That means don't go below 0. So I don't have to do this entire thing, do I? Hold on. Let's do, that's what that is. Self dot cooldown saturating subs. Yeah. Add the new, okay, so prevent it from overflowing. So -1. That's what I want to do. There we go. Much better looking. Okay, so now you can only fire once every 5 frames at most. Okay, much better. So we should be able to see more than 100 be able to fire. It's a little hard to tell whether or not it's really learning. It's also hard to tell if one is firing multiple times or not. I wonder if the 5 frames is too much. So we know when it was once every frame, that was way too much. Let's try if I set this to be a smaller number, like will I start getting hundreds of thousands with this again? Okay, you're getting up to like 80 sometimes. And then I kind of want... You need to change the aim rotation, division, and individual to aim rotation divided by pi. Oh, okay. This is in the update, right? For the score. So score is like... Oh, wait, no, it's not score. It's in play. We have our rotation. Oh, right. It's no longer 360. So it's now going to be divided by... Just by rotation by pi, right? Okay. You can shoot 10 bullets at 1 bullet per frame, but then you can shoot only you can only shoot a bullet every 10 frames. They have like only 20 frames to live. Maybe they have a little bit more. They're firing less. Yeah, I feel like, well, the only negative of that is I have to slow it down a little bit. I have to let them live longer. But that might not be too terrible of an idea. Let's also do that. So we want to set end generation on tick. Let's say we give them 50 ticks. And I wonder if I want to do something like, okay, you get every time that you fire, for every bullet, you get 5 ticks. You get 5 more ticks, encouraging a lot of them to fire. Let's try this. The first one will start on 50, and then you have 10. Okay, so then if we fire, so instead of that, we'll just do self dot end generation on tick plus equal self dot after ticks. So we include like 10 more ticks before they're done. So now they get every time that they fire, they get more time to live. I do have a timeout, but the tick, I believe, is interesting because I think it's actually, oh, it's for each one of these loop throughs. It's for each one of these. You know what? I need my own ticks. I need my own ticks as opposed to theirs. So I need ticks is you. Can I do, what's the biggest one? You do 128. So instead of us getting ticks from here, okay, we'll just ignore that, and everywhere where we now have a problem. So if self.ticks, what are you? Expected U size, if I was use 128. Oh, should you be a U size? Maybe you should just be a U size. That might make it easier. Okay, so then updates. I want to go to the end here and just say self.ticks plus equals to 1. Okay, so at the end of each of those internal loops, we increment the number. And that might be better. We're not using fire anymore. Okay. So now let's try this. And this will have to be our last experiment with this. Ooh, I think they are firing multiple times. They are definitely firing many times, and their generations are lasting much longer now. Yeah, so then they get 70 times 10, I think, each time they fire. So they give themselves 700 milliseconds. In the for loop, it still uses the built-in ticks. It might. And generation on tick, 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 tick. So that's self.ticks. I'm not seeing anything about that. Sidewinder, hello. How are you doing today? This is an editor called Helix. It's a CLI editor. I'm not really sure where you're referencing. Where you steer the FPS. Where I set that? Here? Context time, check the time. That's like the number of frames per second I want. Okay, good. Looks awesome. Yeah, so this is a combination of multiple things. So we have Helix is just this one thing in here in this window. Then I'm using something called Zellage, which is the Windows Manager. And that gives me this top thing up here, the menus of like the tabs. And then it also has the sort of help down here and then some side windows for me over here. So two things together, which are really awesome. Let's see how this is going. It is significantly slower, but they are now firing multiple times, which gives them multiple chances to get a higher score. Because like if we're not changing the scores, like it's not like if they miss on the secondary shots that it's worse for them. So that's really interesting. So it is after 4:30. I've got to go and like figure out the schedule for next week so I can actually announce that. Yeah, this is running in Mac OS. So I just have this. I am not using the terminal in Mac OS X. I downloaded another terminal called Alacrity, and I'm using that instead. So I mean, it feels like they're aiming a lot more. This is so far significant improvement, and we didn't have to implement any like crazy stuff. I feel like, I feel like we're to the point where I might like consider that this is like actually learning and doing something right. So I like it. Okay, so here's the plan. Tomorrow morning, so tomorrow's going to be the last day of this of the crazy 2-stream-a-day schedule, and then starting next week, which I need to check, like what day is the first? I'm probably not going to stream on the first. What's the calendar? The first Monday is the first. I probably won't stream on the first because New Year's Day I will probably be tired. So the real schedule will probably start on Tuesday, and then I will but tomorrow I'll do the announcement probably twice, once in the morning stream and then once in the afternoon stream for what it's going to be. There'll be maximum 1 streams per days, and then we'll still have several streams per week. So I can say that safely. I just need to figure out when and what times I want to at least begin the experiment with. So that'll be it. Tomorrow morning is going to be more creating our own Git client in Rust using code crafters. It's a partnered stream, so that is like I'm like, helping promote them, and then also they give me a link where people can give me money for that. Even when 100 shots, so actually they can shoot more than 100 shots, right? Like that's probably less than all of them shooting. Some of them can shoot more. We're allowing them to shoot multiple shots now. So because of that, it's more of like they get extra time when they shoot. We're giving them time, and that's I don't know if that's a good idea or not. It's interesting. If I press spacebar, it does increase it, but that was making some people dizzy. So I'm not having that active right now. I haven't seen more than 100 either. Theoretically, we can get there. I think that most of them are not. And I don't know why. I don't know if that's a bug on my part or if it's just we haven't seen it. So we'll see. They are shooting a lot more often, that's a good thing. And they're shooting at different angles, which is also a good thing. Okay, yeah, so tomorrow morning, I stopped with coding game. Yeah, I stopped with coding game. So what happened was I started learning this type of stuff with the intention of bringing it back to coding game, but it was so cool and interesting that I turned it into like just doing this on its own to learn neural-evolutionary coding. And then I don't know what we might do is I might go back to coding game and try the new fall challenge that dropped like a couple weeks ago, and like we'll just see if we can get into like a couple leagues into that. And then but there's so many other games I want to try to play that are coding based games, so I might go with that, like with one of those two. So afternoon stream is fun stream like this, morning stream is businessy / like money stream. So that's the plan. Anyways, thank you everybody for hanging out today. I hope that you all have a great rest of your night. I'm going to start this on my Windows system, and I'll again let it run overnight, and we'll see how good it is tomorrow afternoon. So with that, have a good one, and see you next time. Bye.